And guys, as the last part and last step of manipulating the user interface, we need to move up the objects which are below. So these objects, we need them to be moved up. So for that purpose, what we will be doing is we need to, if you remember that first we have declared the constraints for the register button, then these are OR button, right view and left view are connected to the registered button. Let's say we've created the constraints for register new account button, or is connected with this button, so or will always keep this gap of 14 pixels between itself and this button. And this right view, it's connected with the OR, it will always be centralized vertically to OR and keep these gaps. And the same the left view, it's always centered according it has centered vertical position according to OR, and it always keeps this 10 pixels gap. So it means if we will move up just simply this register button, these objects will be moved up as well. Okay, then let's do it. So here, in order to move this button up, we need to create the outlet connection from the bottom. What we want to do is we want to increase this gap higher. And what do you think? How we can come to know what exactly how many pixels we must move it up? You got 5 seconds to answer the question. Okay, so those who say that we need to get keyboard's height calculated and then move it up, they were right. Okay, let's do it. First, I will create an outlet connection from the bottom constraint. So select, for example, let's single click on your button, then you will see this bottom constraint, single click on it, and make sure that you have selected. We are going to Assistant Editor. That's the one, register button. Here we go. Hold Control, left mouse click, drag it here, and we will write something like register button underscore bottom constraint. Excellent. So now let's go to the login view controller to code it. Okay, so in order to calculate how many pixels we need to move up, we need to get the size of the keyboard. So for that purpose, what we can do is we can declare the size of the keyboard. Let the keyboard size equals to how we can know the size of the keyboard. If you remember that we have passed this notification variable, means this variable will be storing everything related to the notification, including the height of the keyboard, even including how many buttons on the keyboard. Okay, so we will write here, we'll open and close round brackets. We will simply write notification dot user info. User info means all the information passed to user. Question mark, open and close square brackets, right here UI keyboard frame user info key, begin user info key. So that's the one. So then here come out from the square bracket, here write as ns value, come out from the round brackets, place question mark dot cg rect. Yeah, so this is the keyboard. Let me explain you. So we have here created a constant, or we have dedicated a cell of the memory which will store some information, and the name of the constant is keyboard size. So this keyboard size will store information which is passed by the notification. This notification, it stores all the information related to keyboard will show. So we are accessing notification, which we have got. We are accessing information which is passed to user info. And there are thousands of information, for example, and out of this information we are accessing keyboard frame when it just begins to be shown to the user. And we cast it as NS value. Then we convert it to CGRect value. This is, we must do it because when we just access it, it's not a CGRect rectangle value. If you remember, when we declare a size for our layers, we use CGRect. CGRect means the size. So we convert this information to be as something valuable in its value, and we convert this value to be of type rectangle value, which we can use as the size. So this is what we have done. Okay, so now we will move this button's vertical position up by adding this height. So the button will appear here. Okay, so we right now register button bottom constraint dot constant. In here we add to current position keyboard size, that's the one, keyboard size dot height. Okay, so here it will ask you to force downcast it, so there will be no errors, but to use this force downcast in the programming is not always preferable. So it means we are asking to access this height by forcing it even though it was unable to catch the keyboard's height. So we're forcing it. Definitely it will never fail because iPhone, the iOS, it works perfectly and super ideal operation system. So it will always catch this notification. Nonetheless, to avoid this, what you can do, you can use if let here open closures, and let's put this line in it, and we can remove this exclamation mark. So here by putting if let and closures, we are telling if we could create a constant with the name size which can access notification and then can access information passed to user and can grab from this information the size of the keyboard's frame, cast it at something of some valuable value, and then convert it to the size. If you are able to do this, Xcode or iOS, then do the following, which is in the closures. Okay, if iOS or app is able to access keyboard's frame, then change Y position of the register button. So this is what we have done. So I advise you to do not copy paste it. Just type it here. In my case, in order to save your time, I will just copy paste it right here. Okay, but here we need to do a change, very important. We need now to deduct it. Here we are adding keyboard's height. Here we are deducting keyboard's height. Let me show it to those who didn't get it. So for example, this is our screen. This is the button. And this is the constraint, for example. So when the keyboard is like this, let's say, so we want to that one, it has height 27, so its height 212, 27 plus 212 will be 239. So we want its height to be 239. So it will move the button up by adding to it. When we deduct 239, it will be 227. It will come down as it is stick to the button. So this is how the logic works. Okay, let's now try to build and run. Here we go. I'll click on it and excellent. The way it looks like, it's really excellent. So it's getting moved up and it's getting moved down. So this one, I really believe that this is not required to be in the login. We don't need a prediction because we're not typing a message. So I will go to the main sorter board, select your login text field, correction, keep no. Okay, so now we don't have it. So here we go. It looks really excellent and awesome, guys. So you can try this app on your iOS device and it will work perfectly fine with no any bugs. So that's really excellent, guys. We have done with the user interface behavior for the login page, and that's really something really amazing. Congratulations, guys. Really happy that we could achieve it.